Okay, guys, another AFC opponent, division game. Counts big in the standings, big in the division. Another team that's playing high level on offense. They came down 2 weeks ago against the Chargers and won 31-30. Came back on the road against Atlanta. They got a good young quarterback, some very good young explosive receivers, and a very good core of tight ends. The line's playing good, and they have two good backs, both in the run and the pass game. So it's gonna be a formidable challenge for us this weekend. Any questions?
Paul, John talked yesterday about how smooth Jerry Judy looks. What do you see when you look at him on film, and does he look maybe more advanced than a typical rookie receiver does at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he's really a very good route runner. Very precise in and out of his routes. He can run all the routes. Good run after the catch. Does a decent job of blocking in the run game. So he's a complete receiver. It's a good pick they made.
Missed tackles have been an issue for your defense this season. What are you seeing as what's leading to that on tape, and how can you work on improving that moving forward just as a defense overall?
We don't tackle in practice very often. Actually, we never now once the season starts. So we just got to keep making sure they're in the right position in practice. Knees bent, those type of things, tracking a near hip. We grade those things every day in practice, every week in the game. We give them factor grades for tackles. Second in, whatever it may be. So we just got to continue to keep harping on the fundamentals of things we're doing, and hopefully they'll keep improving.
Well, there seems to be an uptick in Corey Littleton's play last few games. Have you noticed that? And 8 games into his Raiders career, how would you assess where he is so far?
Well, I think Vincent, he's come in as a new player in a new system after playing in the same system as pretty much his whole career. So I think each and every week he's gotten better. Just understanding the game plan, the details of maybe a run fit or the pass progression, whatever it is. And like I said, each and every week it changes based upon the opponent, who you're playing, who you may be covering, a back or a tight end. I think he's just done a better job of understanding what we're asking him to do each and every week.
Yeah, Paul, John was talking about Nick Kwakowski and saying that he not really an outward rah-rah type guy or a real vocal leader, but that he's getting better in that regard. Are you seeing that, and what are you seeing in his play?
Well, I think that's something that I talked to Nick about. Him coming from Chicago, primarily a backup guy in Chicago. He started a handful of games for him last year. I think we just need to keep watering his plan a little bit as far as being a leader here. So just keep teaching him leadership skills off the field, in the classroom, on the field, all those type of things. Because the Mike linebacker's got to be the guy to lead our group in the huddle, make all the checks, make all the calls, and it's got to be a guy that we all look up to. Like I say to him all the time, Sundays is Players' Day, so they have to make sure out there they're communicating the right way. Wednesday through Friday is the coach's day, so we try to put them in position, but when Sunday rolls around, he's got to be the leader of the band.
Hey, Paul, with Damon and Trayvon's status still kind of up in the air for Sunday's game, do you think that Isaiah Johnson could potentially see an uptick in snaps going after his performance on Sunday?
Well, I think you see a lot of our guys. I mean, you saw Nevin Lawson's been playing for us for the last 4 or 5 ball games. Isaiah, Keyshawn Nixon, they all been in there, so they know, whether a guy goes down or is not right and has to come out for a couple series or a half of the game. Those guys got to go in and play at our standard. So I mean, we always talk about the standard is the standard. Whoever goes in there, we're not going to try to cover them up or do whatever. We're going to stay with the game plan and go about our business. So when those guys get an opportunity like Isaiah did the other day, they got to make the most of it. So I think you'll be seeing more of him.
Hey, Paul, this is Vic. What have we seen of Carl Nassib this season? Did he make some strides last week?
Yeah, I think, again, same thing with Carl. New in the system, and then just trying to feel like some of the run fits, some of the things we're asking him to do, the blitzes. I think he's gotten those things down each and every week a lot better. So hopefully he's been doing a nice job for us in there. He's got a sack last week, so hopefully he can continue on the uptick and keep playing at a high level each and every week.
Hey, Coach, we've heard Gruden make a couple comments on Arnett about him having a real presence about him, kind of a fun guy to be around. I mean, if he's on the field or not, just being back at practice, is it nice to have him back, and does he kind of lift your energy and make it fun to be at practice?
Yeah, he's a fun guy to be around. He's got a lot of swagger about him. He's not scared. He's an A-type personality, which I love to coach. So we need as many of those kind of guys as we can get, and I'm glad to have Damon back, and hopefully he'll go out and play at a high level this weekend.
I also want to ask you your impressions of Jerry Judy watching him on film this week.
Wait, that's 2 questions for Vic. Can we allow that? Do we allow that too?
And it's also a second question.
No, Judy. I said it earlier. Judy's a good young receiver. They made a good pick. He's really he's fast. Obviously, can run. His time speed's very good. He's a very good route runner. He runs all the routes. So I mean, he's a challenge to handle out there.
All right, no more questions.
Wow. We good? Anybody have any questions? We're good. All right, Vic. Appreciate it, man.
Okay, guys, Coach Cable's up. Go ahead and raise your hand.
Hey Tom, it's almost been kind of a Rubik's Cube trying to figure out all the line combinations that you guys have had this year. Players playing right guard, left guard, all right tackle, left tackle. Have you seen anything like this that you guys have gone through this year? And what's been the key in being able to kind of seamlessly get guys in, ready to play each week, and not have a major fall off in performance?
I think the way we practice, the training, this group's been together for best part of 3 years now. Colton and Brandon, haven't drafted them 3 years ago, so really Sam's the only new guy per se, and he's experienced, so his experience really has kind of kicked in for us big time. But this is the group. They're always kind of pressing to prepare, and they're pretty close, so they're spending a lot of time together to get to this point where they can handle it.
Hey Tom, Paul Guenther here from ESPN. When you look back at your history as an offensive line coach, you see kind of a lot of outside zone scheme. You think of John Gruden's offense, you think of power. You're seeing this year a lot of inside zone. What exactly are you guys running with so many different pieces to the puzzle?
I think it's up to the opponent, Paul. I think it's really more about what they're giving us. We're schooled enough as players in our system now that we can kind of take what they give you. I think it's really the truth of the whole thing. So it's really up to the opponent. What they're giving us, what they present to us, really kind of targets how we attack them in that game, and hopefully we can stay with it and have success.
Yeah, Tom, Jerry McDonald, I remember from your first tenure here, a lot of the guys that were your offensive linemen, you seemed to forge relationships with them that went beyond just being their coach, and they talked about that. It seems like that's kind of going on here again. How big is that part of the job to you, to get to know these guys more than just players that play for you? And how often do you hear from these guys still that you coached years ago?
We talk a lot. It's been that way all the way back to college days. That's probably the most important thing to me, Jerry. I think that when a coach can connect with the player and vice versa, you kind of understand them. You kind of know what it takes for them to be prepared, what they need to get prepared. They recognize the fact that you're with them, you're in it for them. You don't put yourself on a pedestal as a coach. Ego stays out of it, all that kind of BS and nonsense I think that comes into football at this level. A lot of guys need to be pumped up or need someone to talk about them or whatever, and we just have never approached it that way. It's been more about them as men, as husbands one day, as fathers. What are they going to do with their money when they're done? What's the plan after football? So it's always kind of been at the lead thing is let's take these guys further than what the game will. The game will pay them well, but it will beat them up pretty good too. So let's big picture this a little bit more, and that's important to me. It always has been. With the passing of Mario, week before last, Mario Henderson, I had a bunch of those guys reach out to me that were able to attend his service, and that just means the world to me. That those guys would be there for him, and that's just the way we've always been connected, and I'm really proud of that.
Tom, Brandon Parker's almost grown up right before our eyes these last couple of weeks. Almost like a light's gone on. And it was never for lack of care or anything like that you may have struggled. And I know you know that. But how satisfying is it to see it come together for somebody like that that's put the work in, hasn't maybe had the results, but now is getting to enjoy reaping some of the rewards of the work that he's put in?
Well, I'm really excited for Brandon because you said it perfectly. When you come from a small school into this league, there is a transition, and some guys handle it quickly and some guys don't. The skill set's obviously there, the size, the mind, all that, the passion that you talked about. He's always had great want to, but at some point, an athlete, whether they're a superstar like the quarterback or they're a young left tackle that's backing up and getting an opportunity, at some point they have to learn to trust themselves, and they have to do that. It's kind of like when we went from junior high to high school, you really didn't know what you were all about until you figured out, hey, I'm okay, and then you go do it to college, and same thing in pro football. And I just think he's finally trusting himself, and I think that we're seeing the beginning of something really cool for his future.
Hey, Tom, Paul again. We've talked about the past and the history and things there. Being now in Las Vegas with the Raiders, how mind-blowing is that to you, considering it was, 29 years ago you were on the staff at UNLV with Jim Strong?
It's crazy. It really is. I mean, my wife and I have had a business here for quite some time. This has been our home. So even when I was in Seattle, we were always coming back here. But to end up here in this role with this team that I love dearly, it's been really, it's been a heck of an experience, to be honest with you. And then to see the whole thing evolve from, going to the Raiders the first time in 2007 and then becoming the coach, and then now you're back here coaching the line, which I love to do. And this, to see this whole franchise and organization grow the way it has, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Anything else, guys? Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Feeling confident?
Yeah, great Thursday.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's get started.
All right, Jerry.
Hey, Greg. Jerry McDonald. Devontae Booker spent about 3 years where he didn't carry the ball very much, and I know he practiced and ran during practice, but that's not the same. You're not being tackled to the ground. I'm curious as to whether there was rust for him to shake off. Can you see him growing as a runner since he's getting used again?
Yeah, again, I don't know anything about Devontae when his time in Denver. What we do know here is that he's been an exemplary player for us. He's been great in the meeting room. He's been great in the practice field. He's been a great teammate to both offensive and defensive players. So we like the player and we like the skill set that he brings. I know he's excited about going back and playing Denver and get a chance to play his old team. But, again, we're just happy with the guy that we got.
All right, guys.
Anything else?
Go ahead and raise your hand. You got a question for Ole?
Paul, you got something I can tell.
There we go.
Hi, Greg.
Paul, how are you?
Good. Hey, you had Derek Carr when he was a rookie back in 2014 when you were the OC back then, and obviously you've got him now working with him hands-on on a daily basis. How much has he matured? How different is he as a guy, not only on the field, but off the field today as opposed to when he was a rookie 6 years ago?
Yeah, again, a lot of growth in a lot of different areas, and he'd be the first guy to say that. I think that, again, his growth in his skill set, but as a football player and his understanding of not only the offensive scheme, but the defensive, what's going on defensively has probably been his, the biggest growth in terms of his football side of it. But, it's great to see him grow as a father and a husband. I think he's been great that way. I know that a lot of the other players that are married, they spend a lot of time, they were able to before the COVID hit, that they spent a lot of time at the cars and he's done a lot of things with his teammates that also have families and wives. So, big growth period as it would be for anybody after 7 years, and it's good to see. Really, it's makes you proud.
Yeah, Greg. Derek has been such a dominant personality on the offense, and he laughs about how he hogs all the snaps. So I'm just curious about the status of the backups in Nathan and Marcus, and how confident you are in them if they had to step in, and where are they at right now?
Yeah, we're real comfortable as a staff with the quarterback room in both Nate and Marcus. So, and they get a lot of work. Obviously, Derek likes to take the majority of the snaps at practice, like most starting quarterbacks do in the league. But those other two guys get a lot of work done with the show team against the defense and also post-practice. We just finished up now with both of those players. So we like the quarterback room. We like what they bring in terms of their mental makeup, but we also like the physical skill set that both of those guys bring.
Hey, Greg, this is Vic. What's the next step for Henry Ruggs?
Yeah, route running. To be honest with you, we love the speed factor. Again, it's something you can't coach. But the route running and the consistency that we want to see him bring to the game. He's another guy that's been out, just finished up outside here with him, working the toe touches, the toe drags on the sideline. So it's experience for him and a route running, which in at Alabama, you know, Judy was the guy, and I think he's a guy that, again, is just still, we don't want to say developing because he's a great player right now, but his route running can get better, and we see a real high ceiling in terms of that.
Greg, with Waller this year, it seems like he's not being used maybe as much passing to him downfield. Has that been by design because you have receivers who can do that now, or is that defense is taking something away?
No, that's part of that. Josh is, Darren Waller is always going to be a deep vertical threat, but the fact that we've got somebody else on his side in terms of Nelson Aguilar and Henry Ruggs has come along, we just have a lot more depth. Again, as we've talked about at every position. And wide receivers probably been the biggest jump for us here in the 3 years that we've been here as a staff. But we still feel real comfortable with Darren Waller, and we still, again, will plan to push Darren Waller down the field. And when the opportunities arise for him to get the ball, then he'll get them. But right now, I think it's probably what you had alluded to, that we're just a little bit deeper at the wide receiver position.
Coach, you were talking about Devontae and what he's brought to the team. Why is it important to have that second guy that you can trust to send out there and take a couple series?
Well, we like the workload that that we knew when we drafted Josh Jacobs, he was a guy that was going to be a workload back that we wanted to get the ball to, and we felt last year, I think as we discussed earlier, that we wanted someone with a similar style of skill set as Josh, not the lighter type back. We've got that obviously in Jalen Richard and Theo Riddick. We have some guys that can be kind of, choice route runners out of the backfield. But we wanted someone that could handle a load if we had to hand it to him 30 times a game. And we felt like, Devontae Booker was that guy. And I think, again, the scouting department in Mayock and those guys targeted him earlier, and we got a chance to see him on film. We liked what we saw. And again, he's been a real, pleasant addition for us.
Speaking of pleasant additions, Greg, obviously Nelson Aguilar is on the team for a reason, but how pleasantly surprised are you with him as a deep threat and what he presents and what, just how productive he's been with his touchdown to catch ratio?
Yeah, really a lot like Denzel Good. There'd be an argument there, and who's been the MVP at the skill position set for us thus far halfway through the season. And Nelson Aguilar, there'd be a lot of guys, a lot of players and coaches that would feel strongly about Nelson Aguilar being that guy. So, we liked him when we went out and signed him in free agency. But I think, he has risen above what we thought he would be. He sets very high standards for himself. He's an excellent practice player. He's great in the meeting rooms in terms of his preparation. So we just feel really, really lucky to have him, and he has been a great addition for us.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
And Devontae, Jerry McDonald from the Bay Area News Group. Curious as to whether the last 3 years in Denver, when your carries went way down after your rookie year, that when you got to the Raiders, was there any rust that needed to be shaken off, or is like running the ball like riding a bike, it comes right back to you, or are you still coming around as a runner after those 3 years?
Really, I think I was just still coming around as a runner. Even though I didn't really get the carries that I thought I should have had in Denver. I just always kept working. That's all it was, because I never knew when opportunity was going to come. So, I got my opportunity here, and I'm just, glad I'm here and making the most of it.
About Josh Schubert with AP, you mentioned not getting the carries you thought you deserved in Denver. How frustrating was that to believe you could contribute and not getting that opportunity, and you look forward to sort of showing them maybe what they missed out on?
It was very frustrating in a way, but I only could control what I can control, and I only could say so much. But I just keep, going out there and working and just doing what I need to do. That's what I believe in, is just go out there and just put it on film out there each day and go work and do what I need to do.
Devontae, would you say that there's a former teammate on the defensive side of the ball that you're most looking forward to facing on Sunday?
None really. Shoot, it's just another game to me, honestly. Just gotta go out there and execute. You know, just not only myself but all of us. And you know, there's, like I said, there's really no other team or no other teammate that I look forward to playing. But like I said, it's just another game, and just go out there and do what I need to do.
You said there's just another game for you. Is that how you have to look at it? Is that the mindset you have to take instead of, you know, making it personal and trying to prove a point?
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot, you know, it's just another game. Of course, everybody, you know, when they play their ex-team, they want revenge and all this extra stuff. But, you know, just for me, it's just another game, and just got to go out and execute, like I said, and, you know, come out with a win.
Well, how gratifying has this season been for you, though, to be able to show that you can contribute when you get the opportunity and running the way you have been?
It's been good. You know, it's just showing everybody that I can play, and you know, and I can contribute the way that I am. And you know, it just, you know, it's never been going unnoticed here. And you know, like I said, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to go out and do what I can do.
Devontae, I'm just curious about your experience with the running back room. When Josh Jacobs got here last year, you know, Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington and Alec was a rookie too. They were real inclusive. It was a real tight-knit group, and you seem to have stepped right into that. Have you found that the room is still like that?
Absolutely. You know, our room is really kind of one of the best that I've ever been around, to be honest. And you know, it just, I don't know. It's just something different about this room. You know, we're all solid guys. You know, as Theo, we was talking about it the other day. Me and Theo Riddick was talking, and he was like, man, you know, he was coming from Detroit, and he had rooms where it was, you know, just completely different, the opposite of how we are, and just like he never been around nothing like it. And you know, I feel the same way. You know, we got a good room, and you know, everybody wants to compete, and you know, we all bring out that competitiveness in us. You know, each time we go out to practice and in the games.
Got him?
Sorry, when you were looking for where to go, why were the Raiders the right spot for you?
Really, I just felt like they had something special here before me even signing, and I just knew it could have been a perfect fit for me and a good opportunity for me to come in and just work my butt off to get me some carries. And you know, like I said before signing here, I just thought it was a great fit, and I think we could do something big, and I just wanted to be a part of it.
We'll do one more, Anthony.
Hey, Devontae, I know you talked about it, saying that this is just another game, but I'm just wondering, is there extra motivation facing the Broncos for you?
Just a little bit, I guess. You know, knowing that I didn't play there 4 years and stuff like that, but like, of course, I want to go out and win and beat these guys, but you know, I only could talk about it so much. We just got to go out there and you know, we got to go out there and win and do it on all cylinders.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Good. Thank you.